Hello, Michael.
How are you?
I'm actually not half bad. I guess that could go either way, but I'm pretty good actually. How are you doing? How's your wife doing?
Good.
Oh, good. Okay, because I know you said she was COVID positive a while back, and
Well, it still doesn't have any sense of taste or smell.
wow,
It's been over almost 2 months now.
wow. Yeah, I had a friend here. In fact, you may know. Oh, hold on a second. I have to call him back. All right. Sorry about that. You you actually may know this guy, or at least of them. Do you remember Larry Straight had a surveying company, and it was an aerial mapping company. Anyway, it became T3 Global, and it used to be called Aerial Data Reduction Associates. They're out of New Jersey, but anyway, they basically just did your typical engineering photogrammetric surveys. And I had worked for them years ago. That's why I moved to Pittsburgh back in '93, I think it was, working for them. But anyway, they're the guy that owns it now. He's been my best friend, gosh, all those years. And but he had COVID. But you may know them sort of roundabout. Do you know a fellow named Horace Mackinoff?
I don't think so.
He's from, I don't know, the Bahamas or Jamaica or someplace, but he lives out of Altoona. But he's a West Virginia surveyor as well. And he was, I thought he might have been on the registration board when you were the chair. Or
No, there was nobody named Mackinoff ever on the registration board.
yeah, it's MCANUFF. Yeah, Horace, HURACE. And anyway, he's one of those kind of real steeped in integrity type of really good guys that I like, but they use him a lot to run ground control for their photogrammetry. They did, and I know he was a member of the Society of West Virginia is out that direction, but
well, he may be a member of the society.
Oh yeah,
Mackinoff,
but I mean,
how do you spell his last name again?
Yeah, MCANUFF. I thought
MCANUFF.
yeah. I thought he had said he knew you, but he may have just meant that he knew who you were since you were on the board.
Forrest George Mackinoff.
Yep, that's him.
Current status active, Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever met him, or if I have, I don't recall.
Yeah. Well, if you ever get the opportunity, he's a fine gentleman and an excellent surveyor. So he, in fact, he brought me in to do. He had a contract to survey these railroad tunnels for CSX back when they were going through their double stack program to get double stack cargo cars on the trains, and they had to basically notch out the tops of the tunnels, you know, sort of like the tunnels are rounded like this, and they had to get like a double stack car going through it, so they had to cut little notches out so that it sort of came up and looked like cat's ears almost, you know, where the train, because they were hitting into the top of the tunnels. And they had he had basically extended control through the tunnels, and then another outfit was in there trying to survey the shape of that, and they were just shooting a bunch of random points and carrying on. So he brought me in, we did all the laser scans inside of them, and then unwrapped all those scans into profiles, you know, slices down through the tunnels, and then pushed that the train car envelope down the track, and it, you know, it responded to, you know, racking up when it went around a curve a little bit. So we had to see where or whether or not they had notched out enough stone out of the top of the tunnel so that the train cars could go through correctly. So anyway, neat little project, and we did, I think, 6 of them or so. And but nice guy, and they used him a bit there at TD3. But anyway, all of that story to bring to a close, Marty wound up getting, he and his wife both were tested positive, and he had, his biggest symptom was his loss of taste, and he said, and that went away affected him for about 2 weeks, but he got it back. But he said, you know, he had completely lost all sensation, so he decided he was going to test something out, and he ate this really super hot, spicy stuff, whatever it was, just to test it. He said it was the weirdest thing, because that I could feel my body was reacting. I was sweating, I was doing all of these things, but I couldn't have any sensation out of that at all. But
Janet can taste salty, and she can taste sweet.
wow.
But that's about it. The other morning, she was out on the back porch. We have a fireplace insert in the basement. We burn it almost year round this time of year.
Yeah.
She went out on the back porch and she could smell wood smoke, and she was very excited by that.
Oh, good. That's one of those smells you'd hate to lose anyway.
Or maybe it's coming back.
Well, good to hear.
But it's
all right, sir.
For her as a veterinarian, because her sense of smell is a real tool that she uses diagnostically.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, my wife has no sense of smell, never has, from birth. Whatever nerves that they need that are back, the olfactory nerves in her nose were underdeveloped or whatever, so she's never been able to smell, and she has a very limited sense of taste because of that. So of course, everybody reminds me of how lucky I am because of that, but because she can't smell. But anyway, all righty, let's
Okay, let me ask you a quick question here.
Sure.
I have all 3 drawings that I want to show you up on at the same time. Is that okay to have 3 open at the same time?
Oh, yeah, no problem.
I didn't know if there was a limit.
No,
I did
all
discover that you can't open another drawing until you've saved the one that you're working in, if you've made a change. That surprised me.
No, you should be able to.
Wouldn't let me open either of the others until I hit save, and the one I was working on, and that was fine.
Oh, that's strange behavior. I don't know. That shouldn't have. It might have prompted you. I don't know. Even at that. Well, anyway, we'll take a peek. All right. I'll go ahead and.
I'm going to go ahead and share the screen.
Yeah, let me. I'll shut down our videos so we can save a little. Okay, go ahead then. Oops, I guess I gotta always do this, even though it lets me All right, now try it. There's a setting that I set that's supposed to have put that into default, and yet it never takes effect.
I'm not seeing. I hit share, but I don't see the option anymore. It's disappeared. I minimized my.
You should have that little green button, the controls at the bottom.
Yeah, it's not there.
And then once you select that screen, then you have to also hit the share button. But
let me see if I can figure out how to get it back here.
look down at the bottom of your screen
Okay,
on the stat.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I hit it.
Okay. All righty. There we are.
Okay,
now, whilst
minimize this.
While there, I'm going to go ahead and request control. I'm going to let you drive as much as I can here, but just in case we need it that way.
Okay.
And all right.
Let me minimize this thing. Okay, and let me go to Crawford first. Okay, I addressed all of the comments on Crawford, but there are two things I'm having trouble with.
Okay.
I don't know if you have the comments up or not.
No, I did not. I remembered. Let's see if I can pop back over and get them. I did remember that one that said it needed to be in the format matching something else.
I had mine up here, but
yeah, here we go. Yeah, it says use the format from section 20.106.e.
Yeah.
For that area.
And I took the table that we did and I modified it to meet that requirement.
Uh-huh.
And you can see it on my screen here. But the problem is that, well, you see it looks a little funky.
Yeah.
And they want you to put a minus sign here and a plus sign there. And every time I put a minus sign there, it turned into a formula. And I couldn't get it to stop doing that.
Yeah, you have to make that like text. I'll show you that. That's because that's exactly what Excel is trying to do, is to make that into a formula. Yes. Okay. So now,
okay, you see, here's the other thing. That side is missing, and I couldn't get it.
Okay.
And when you, it doesn't show up on the plat, but when you plot it, it shows up.
Okay.
It's a missing space.
All right. So go ahead and click in the upper left, that A1 cell.
There?
No, down right there. Click there, and now go ahead and hold the shift key and click where it says 7.3411 acres, the lower right. Okay, now let the shift key up and right click the mouse and go down and choose format cells, fourth up from the bottom. And when it comes up to there, click the border tab at the top, the tabs at the top, border. There you go. And now select, or you see from the style on the left, and you've got that really super fat heavy one. Go to the one above that one, so it's not quite so fat, right there. Yeah. All right, now to tell it which one you want, over there on the right hand side, now choose the outline, the one in the middle across the top row. There you go. And now say okay. All right, now if you click off of it, you see what you oh, I see what's going on here now. You see your A, B, D, F.
Yeah.
So there's a column missing, C and E. And I'll show you what we'll do is I'm going to go span across both of them. and then I'm going to unhide them, and we'll fix that back here in a minute. So there's E. What happened to C? All right, C must be, there it is. All right, so we don't need this column or this column.
Right.
So I'm going to click that up here at the letter, take the whole top and right click delete. And I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Right click. Where am I? Right click, delete. Okay, so now we'll come back to this. We'll set the format cells, border. I'll take this as an outline. And I want to take this as my inside. And we'll see what that's done. All right, so that's, and I'll do the same thing here, but make it that little heavier one. And that's going to be the bottom of the cell I'm in, which was that top cell. So I want to click that part of the cell. And now that's what that looks like. Okay. All right. So next, I'm going to let's tighten it up a little bit. All right. And so these. Yeah, so you've just typed information in here. These aren't actually adding stuff up. That's why you got less and plus, because
Right.
when you type the minus in there, tried to make it a formula. So here's what you got to do. Take the mouse and double click in the cell so that you're editing what's in the cell. Okay, now go over to the left of the 2. Yeah, and then just backspace all the way out. Now put a single quote mark. I think does it. I'll have to test this and see.
Quote mark.
Like an apostrophe.
Yeah, let me find a quote. A single, like an apostrophe?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, and now put a minus. And now just click out of the cell. See if that'll do it. Yep, okay. The single quote, that apostrophe says, treat this like it's text.
Okay.
Okay. So do the same thing.
I'm learning something about Excel here as well as.
Yeah. Yeah, you can edit in either place, either up there in the top bar or down in the cell if you double click it. So either one. And you got to take that space out. There you go. Now put a. Okay. Now you see these look like they're sort of lined up because you've got some, probably just got some spaces in here, or maybe that's not a space. Maybe that's a, maybe that's right. Just, yeah, up here I see that it's, no, this is left, a line left. All right, there's center. Let me see something here a minute. If I, oops, okay, that's because it's merged. Let me see if I do. It should be. Okay. So now these are all right justified, but they're up against that line. So I'm gonna have you do it here. I'm gonna click up here and then shift click down here in the lower right. Okay. Now let the shift up and right click, format cells. And this time on the alignment tab, we're going to, you see it says horizontal alignment is right with an indent and there's a 0 indent. Click that 0 up one. Now hit the OK button. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. Now they all line up. Okay.
Okay.
So now let's make sure we've got all the text looking the same. We've got it's Arial narrow 11. That's all looking good. This is 14, probably okay. Let's do these also like this. Make it right justified. We'll format the cells and we'll click that up one as well. All right, and let's make all three of these bold. And let me see, do we want, just had an idea, it might be easier. We go back to our border and I say none for the interior. And we take these two and we do this. And then maybe
Yeah, but it's not gonna, then it doesn't meet their format.
oh, what is it? Yeah, what is it that they wanted it to be?
Look at the, you have the drawing up, their markup.
Yeah.
Says line use format from section, and it's got it all.
Yeah, it said that section 2106A or whatever. What is that? I don't know what that is.
It has a box around each one of them, like it was originally.
Okay. That's all right. I see. So let's go back and fix that back while we format cells. That's interesting that they would request that way.
It's literally it's like that in the ordinance, written in the book.
Yeah, but is it simply shown as an example and that's what their example shows, or is it because
if you were logical, yes, that's what you would think. But if you were logical, you would look at the table that we already put there and say, well, that gives you the information.
yes, and you'd also say it outlines it more nice.
It has to look exactly like that.
Well, then what do you do for the fact that their numbers aren't going to be the same numbers that they used?
Well,
I'm being I'm being a smart ass.
They leave the acreages blank, but they have
parcel
A and parcel B and.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go.
Okay, so save that.
Yep. And then do the save. And then when you close, depends on how we did it, it should update. Did it? Yes.
Yeah. Now what's this?
Well, yeah, that's Let me see if we can. No, it's because, remember I took those two columns out?
Yeah.
So it's taking those. So let's see if I can find out here if it's got a number of columns or anything. No, we're gonna have to go back and re-grab it. All right. It's because it had those two hidden columns, and so now we took them out. So they're trying to accommodate it going from A to E instead of A to C.
Uh-huh.
And so, I mean, I could hide that in the background, but I think it's just gonna be, let's just do it this way. We'll just copy, and then we'll come back over here and we will say, clipboard, paste. That how we did it, I think. Yeah. Okay, there we go. And then this one we can just get out of the way in a minute. We'll take this one and then we'll move this guy up.
When you did that copy, you did it to the
Clipboard.
clipboard.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now the only other thing left to do on this, I've done everything else that they've asked. But I went down to try to enter the revision date and put the description in that said address county comments, and it won't let me put anything in there.
Okay. So let's see what we got going on here. First of all, we got some shift. See how that gap's opened up here?
Yeah.
And these lines are, so what do we have? We've got, that's a line or polyline. That's a polyline. So I'm going to get rid of some of this extra stuff. All right, I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to move it from here. And I'm going to go shift, right click, perpendicular to that line there. All right, so that's now put it down. And I've got the same thing. So I'm going to say move again, P for previous. Hit enter to finish my selection. I'll go from the end of that line perpendicular to the bottom because it was sticking up just a skosh. All right, so now we're into the corner. These are just a little bit out of whack too. So if I move them and just sort of eyeball them. All right, so there's that. I haven't forgotten that. We're going to come back to that. I did want to look at something up here though before I do forget it. I want to maybe move this just a skosh off of that line so we can read a little better. All right. And phew. See what I'm doing, Mike? It's not anything at all that they've directed you to do. I'm just trying to make it a little bit more legible there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
All
that.
right.
That's
All
the
right. So
kind of thing
now,
I'm noticing yet.
yeah. So, oh, what happened there? There it is. Okay. Good. Now, what we have down here in the corner to fill this out, this is not like this up here. It's not a table.
Right.
It's not an Excel spreadsheet or anything else like that. This is just what you see out here. You see it's a polyline up here, you see?
Yep.
And that's just a piece of text.
Okay.
So what you want to do then is we want to put text down here. And you can either, you can go to your draw text or what have you. The easiest way to do it, I find, is you select each one of these things. So I'll let you go ahead and I've already clicked the revision. Go ahead and just click date, then description, then approved. Okay, and we're going to copy that down. So we're going to go to the copy, and then we're going to start from the end of the one line, the horizontal line, say the line below it, go to that one, and then scoot it down to the next line too. Just click there once. Well, nope. Press escape. Oops, hold on a second. All right, so let's
Click them again.
Yeah, or just type copy and hit enter, and then type P for previous. Now hit enter to, okay, now hit enter to finish your selection. All right, now let it find the end point of that horizontal line. There you go. Click once. Now go down to the line below it and click there. Okay, now press escape and you're done. Now just double click the rev, and if you need to put anything in there, I don't know if you need to tell it it's revision 1 or A or whatever.
I'm just
Go ahead
and
okay. And then we'll set up the justification here in just a minute. All right.
What's the date of today?
23rd, 22nd, sorry. Okay, then the approved is
I made a mistake.
Oh, there.
And typed address country comments.
I
didn't think that was funny.
I think it's hilarious. Oh my gosh. All right, now click off of that so it can be, and then approved. I think you're just gonna, you're still in the edit command, so press escape or click blank space or something. Now select approved and that second one and just delete. There you go. Now let's take those 3 pieces of text that you've just done there, select each one of them again. We're going to make a couple of changes because what we copied down was basically headers. So now over in the properties, when they're all 3 selected, let's change their, come down where it says style. You see it says standard. Come down below, right in there. See, it says standard. We're going to want to maybe, let's pull that down and see if we can find a different. There may not be one. Try your main text. Let's see what that says, what that looks like. Right, no, it's right, in the pull down, right, yeah, right down below. Okay, right there. Keep going, 2 more, right there. Nope, that's too heavy. Pull that down. Let's try another one. Just try notes. Okay, there we go. See, it's skinnier and it fits in. All right, and now, so click back over there and press escape. And I would take your revision and your date select each of those. Select revision and date, and let's change its justification. Where it says justify left, pull that down and choose center. Okay, and now while they're still selected, we're going to choose move.
Right.
Or actually there's no need to even run the command. If you just want to come down here and go ahead and press escape, so you've got them all. Now select the date. Okay, now grabbing the middle button, because it's now center justified, just click and start dragging to the right, but hold the shift key down. There you go. And now just eyeball center it.
What's holding the
Okay.
shift key down to?
It locks it into left, right, upward, left and right, or up and down, so you don't lose the baseline. No, it's the other. It's the, there you go. There it is. See, otherwise, you don't want one to be higher than the other. That's what, once they're already lined up. So once they were lined up, looks like maybe your date needs to go a little bit further to the right, but none of that really matters. I'm just your very textbook quintessential anal retentive engineer. All righty.
You're not licensed in West Virginia, are you?
I am not, no.
Are you
I should be,
doing
but
any work here?
well, possibly.
Just think about it.
Okay.
Like the proposal we saw that from Greenway the other day.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Yeah, that'd be fine. I'd have to get a West Virginia license though.
Yeah, you would. You would.
Okay.
I don't think it would be much trouble. I don't know what the cost is. Just think about it. Mull it over.
Oh yeah. No, the cost isn't anything at all. I'm just wondering, the hardest part of all that is to go back and document all that, because most of the people that they use to verify my employment record are dead now. So, so anyway, so okay, make sure you hit save.
Okay, and I think that's all my Crawford comments.
Okay. Now, show me, you said that it wouldn't let you open a new drawing without saving this?
Well, I just saved it.
Yeah, okay.
So let's look at another one, and then I'll, so I can close this one now, I think, right?
Correct. Now, make sure that you realize that file you just closed, its file name still says temp work on it.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
okay. All right.
Okay, let me get my markup for the county comments for Summit View Estates.
Okay. And that is this one here. Yep, I got it. Okay. I'm going to put this over on my other screen. All righty. Yeah, I've got the comments up.
Okay, now the comment, I want to shoot the comment over on the far left in red where it says lot 27 is totally 5.004 acres, et cetera, et cetera. I decided to do that as a separate plat because doing 3 mergers on this plat, I think would make it extremely cluttered. And so I've actually got most of that merger plat done, but I have a couple of questions about it that I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Well, the first thing is provide road names and an intersection to locate the property.
Yep. Okay.
And I don't know how to type that on the, I don't know how to get that information in there.
Yeah. So
that the road that's going in there is a subdivision road. And it doesn't actually go down to another intersection. So I was just going to try to label it, put the road name on there and see if they would accept that.
Well, is,
And it's odd that, that this inset, this location inset vicinity map was perfectly acceptable for the concept plan, but it's not for the, for the.
well, that's because you've got somebody else reviewing it, I would imagine, and they decided to be a jerk. So this is the only road in. These up here are just fence roads, right? What about
Yeah.
these? None of, how do these
Well,
people
none
get?
of them go to the property. The only thing that really touches the property in question is the subdivision road coming in.
No, no, I realize that, but I think all they're wanting to do is to see road names so they can go to a map and find it. I don't think it means what roads go to the property necessarily. I think if, you know, if we
Oh,
labeled a
okay.
road up here and a road up here, so that's what we need to do. And so a couple of things we've got, and I see from this one, because remember we did this overall thing is a PDF.
Yeah.
Okay. So we could do a number of things. We can edit that PDF and put the road names on it if you have a PDF editing software, or if we had done it like we did in later ones where we had a little more time and we set everything up as a separate file that we extract in, and we actually are using an image, we could use that. But probably the easiest thing to do right now with the least amount of undo and redo is to just type some white lettered text over top of this PDF. Make sure that we do our draw order and keep it on the front. And we'll just try to visually match what we're looking at there and just leave it in paper space and let it float. Okay.
Okay.
So now the next thing is we need to know what the names of any of those streets
Well,
are.
close this for, or
Yeah.
minimize it for a minute. Okay, close this over.
Go ahead and close that. Yeah.
And I can go to, best place to get that would be the tax map probably. I keep trying to push the roll button to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the name of the subdivision road is Keith Drive.
Okay. And then, and within the limits of what we're looking at on the screen on our stuff, does Shirley Road show up, or is it just?
This is South Childs Road. I think it shows up. Shirley Road might show up. Let me bring this drawing back up and take a look.
All right. So there's Keith. Doesn't look like Shirley makes it.
Yeah, South Childs Road is this road over here.
Okay. Do we have any kind of a crossroad, or is everybody that lives up there, are they just on private drives off of those two, or what?
Yeah, or private drives or subdivision road.
Well, I mean, subdivision road would be all right. What's looks like this is a road that comes down this edge.
That's South Childs.
That's South Childs. So what we'll do is we're going to trace a thinner white line down this edge to make sure they can see that that's a road. And then we'll do the same thing here for this one with a little bulb on it for Keith. Do we have anything is this a road and this a road?
Let me get this back up.
Yeah. So it's South Childs. There's Childs Farm Lane. There's Abbey Road.
I don't think we get down as far as this intersection.
Yeah, it doesn't look like. I'd really like to have an intersection if we could. Let me take a peek back to that. What's going on here? Is it not? There you go. All right, so that comes up and over. See, this comes up and then basically straight north, northeast to north. And like one of these should be a road.
One of which?
I'm sorry, right in there, or this one. Okay, can you see me? You can see where the mouse is moving now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at the tax map again.
Well, hang on just a second. Let me see if there's anything else we can use. We have this and this. But I don't know that those are roads on the, all right, so look for something. All right, we definitely have the Keith Drive, and we use this South Charles. And that one goes like,
Yeah.
you know, that's a very prominent road. But I'd like to get, you know, say this road, or if this is a road here, or even if this is a road up here. I don't know that that is necessarily. But anyway, one of these that we can identify fairly prominently as an intersecting road, that's what we're after.
Okay, you want me to get the tax map up again?
Yeah, let's grab that. So that. All right, so I see Abbey Road.
Well, here's the subdivision road. I think that was one there.
Where is our property? Down there's
Right here.
Keith. Okay, right in up there. So here is this bend like that. That's South Childs. That's the part that we saw. These little things out here, they're not road. The only things that are roads are those ones that are labeled as such. Abbey Road, Lido or Ledge or Ledo, whatever that is, road. Okay. So what is that name up here? Is that Ledge or?
Yeah, Ledge Drive.
Yeah, Ledge Drive. All right. So if we go back, so let me write those down. We've got Ledge Drive, Abbey Road,
Childs Road.
and South Childs.
Yeah, and Keith Drive.
And then Keith Drive. Okay. So now, so what we'll do first is we're gonna just draw, like I said, just draw right on top of this to indicate
Okay, 2D.
where the road is. So let's get on a layer. Let's go ahead and set us up a layer that we could independently freeze later on. We'll call it, yeah, just call it LOCN for location, dash or underscore, whatever your preference, map, dash, ANNO. Okay. And now let's click in the color where it says white. Yeah, that too, that was fine. Now, here's the thing, excuse me, here's the thing about about what's really technically white is it's when you're drawing in the model space where you have a black screen and your white lines and stuff, that's basically it's white on black, but when you were to print that out on a piece of paper, it would be black on white. Okay, so if we choose white and draw it here, when we see it, it's going to look black. Okay, so we want this to actually be as close to white as we can get it, but not all the way white. So we're going to make it sort of gray. You see that lightest shade of gray up there? Right there. Yep. And there's another reason too I want to make it that way, is because we have in our color table, we're mapping everything regardless of its color to be black, except for that color 241, which we have it show up as red so we can see it. Now we could choose to dedicate, oh, and we're also keeping all of the grayscales as independent grayscales. Now we could make another color, just pick one color at random, figure out what its number is, and then set it to be, you know, bright white. But I think, let me think about this a second. Yeah, I think we'll try this first and see if it shows up with enough contrast. If not, we'll change it. So let's change, we'll click that. You've already got it clicked. So now choose OK. All right, so now we're good to go with that. Now, yeah, go ahead and close that. And we're gonna just do a 2D polyline. And choose the button that says use current. Nope, cancel, cancel. There's a button right there that says, yeah, right below, right there. There you go. And say OK. And because remember, you set location map anno and you made it current. Okay. So now I would start about right there and just click, 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 go all the way up to, I know, right here, click, and then up to click.
Okay.
No need to worry about curves necessarily at this point. We can put them in later if we wanted. There we go. All right, and we'll label that here in just a minute. Now let's find the other one. Let's see, we had Ledge Drive and Abbey Road. Let's see if we can, oh, press, I'm sorry, escape or enter, either one. Okay. Now, let's go see if we can figure, I think that one right there is probably Ledge Drive, do you think?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
All right, and does it cross like that? Let's go back and double check on the, there you go. No. I thought it was, it looked like in the image, it looked like it crossed over and made a four-way. That's just a T intersection. But that's, let's say, up to the right and then up before it hits the top. So that should be Ledge. Should be like 2.5. All right.
A driveway coming back to this house that looks like.
Oh yeah, I bet that's what that is. Okay. All right. So let's just draw Ledge.
Yeah, that's what
oh,
it is,
I see. I see. All right. I'm seeing it. If we're so go ahead and draw over to this corner, and then we'll draw this little dog bone street out here too. All right. So go. So right click and shift. So shift right click and choose nearest, which is right there. Yeah. And position up there a little closer, right in there. There you go. Click. And now come over to there and click and stop, hit enter. And now you're going to do another one that's basically that perpendicular one. They say click right in there and go to the end. Go ahead and let it get the end point of that other road. There you go. And now run it up to that point there and just click and now hit enter. There we go. Now we've got, that's Ledge Drive and then whatever that little cross street is that we just drew. So we have South Childs, we have Ledge Drive, and we have, yeah, go ahead and draw that one. Yeah, draw that one in too. And again, we're just, you know, we're not drawing, and you don't have to go, well, I mean, that's fine. I'm saying we're not putting in, you know, circular curves or anything like that. You're just making it look basically where that's supposed to go.
Cul-de-sac. Huh?
Yeah, I would, well, I don't know, we could, hold on a second, I've got to answer. Okay, Dave. Okay. I was calling him. Sorry about that. I was trying to get rid of a caller. All right. Yeah, I would. Is there if there's a cul-de-sac on that? Yeah, just press enter, and then we're going to draw a little circle. Okay. What's it asking for? It wants to know the diameter. So just stretch it. Yeah, just zoom in there and just stretch it out to make it look symbolically about what it should be.
About like that. Is that too big?
Yeah, looks good. That's fine. Okay. Now do the same thing, I think, if we want. If I take that and copy that to, oops, are these cul-de-sacs?
I don't know. They're look tax map.
Okay. Well, it shows them as cul-de-sacs there, but that doesn't mean they paved it as such. Let's just leave them off. So I'll just press escape. I think that'll be good enough. Okay, now let's label these. So we're going to just do.
Draw text.
Yeah, but let me think about this a sec. If we have, I want to draw text along, not on an arc, but let's see if this text, try that text on a polyline. I'll let you do it there and let's see what it comes up and asks us. All right, so the text string, we're going to type in there South Charles or S Childs Road. There you go. I would just make it RD because you're just putting labels on those. Yeah, and the text plot size, you're going to want that to be like 0.06 maybe at most. And the offset scalar I would make to be, this is how far off the line in inches. So let's go with 0.06 also, I guess. And check the use current drawing properties. And above the line, that's good. Say okay. And now pick a polyline. So pick that road. Now pick the point for the slide. So that's going to be wherever it's going to just pick off to the left. And what says pick a point for slide, pick polyline. I didn't see anything. Cannot set cano scale. Hold on here just a minute, Mike. I've got a. All right, now let's let's see if we can figure out what this is asking for. So if we draw text on a polyline, South Childs Road, the plot size 0.06 in drawing units. Oh, I see what it's doing. See, there's that. There it is.
Three.
Yep, it's 6 inches tall. So if we change that, wait a second, let's just erase last. Is that right? Okay, now that I know what it's asking for, see, it's trying to put it in. It's trying to put it in as if we were working in model space. Now we're not in model space. We're out in the real world paper space. So what we do is, what is that? Red bit. That's just a polyline. Okay. All right, so we're going to do it again, but we have to keep that part in mind. So we're going to draw text on a polyline. South Childs Road. And we were trying to use this as scalars, okay, but that's not working because this is not a scaled drawing. This is actual stuff. So instead of 6 inches tall, we're going to make it 0.06. And we hit tab, that tells us that that number is 0.001. So to match that, I'm just going to type that same number. Now, where am I? Oh, there it is. All right. Let's try that one more time. All right.
What is that? When asking you to pick point for a slide, what does that mean?
Well, it says that it's supposed to slide text along the polyline. So I was trying to show it, and you saw that little marker that was moving that showed where, or maybe that's supposed to be the start of it. Let's see what. But I'm only ever getting that S. I'm not getting the whole thing. All right. So let's abandon that. That idea. Let's just write the darn thing. So we'll start here, 0.06, and we'll go that direction. All right, let's try. I'm not getting anything to show up. Is your screen locked? Oh, I see what it's. Oh, I got it. All right. All right. So let's just south Childs Road. All right. So I'm going to take this. Actually, I think to sort of match all of that, I'm going to change that that. And then we'll move that from, say, there. I can't see this very well when this, there's something wrong with the video that I can't, I get all kinds of lag. I can't see where it's going to go. Yeah, let's see. Let me REA. Where did it go? Oh crap! What's this? It's another one of those darn things. Yeah, I'm trying. Let me see. All right, so now that is a block. Deleted. Okay, finally. Now, where did that other thing go? South Childs. It got moved somewhere. Now, here's a little trick. If you can't find it, if you don't know exactly where it is, then, and if I know it should be the last thing that I generated. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit here so I can see everything that I've got. In fact, I'll do a zoom extents. Okay. And I'm going to just type move. And it wants me to select the things I want to move. And there's a letter L means the last thing that you chose. And then I'll say enter to finish. Except I never saw it show up. Let's try this again with another trick. Select last. One. Grayscale, color table. List, properties. List, last. Was a circle. Okay, I must have we actually must have erased it. All right, so back up here. Let's just do.
Oh, the circle down on the Keith Road has disappeared. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, there it is.
Yeah. All right, so that's the only problem with this Zoom stuff is it starts to drop video. All right, so if I just draw standard text, I'm just gonna say, click here, take that height, take it as straight across, and I'm gonna type South Childs Road, enter. What was the next one? Ledge Drive.
Yeah.
And we had a Keith.
Yeah.
Drive.
I'm not seeing you type, and now I'm not seeing anything appear when you're typing.
I know. That's the problem we've got with the other. And what was the cross piece? It was like Sunset.
Let me look on the text map real quick. It was Sunflower
Drive. Okay, so if we come back now, let's see, and I just all right, so there's all of these. All right. South Childs Road. And then this one was, and then this one was, and then this one was.
Are those all separate?
Yes, they are. Now, so we'll take this guy. Oops. So I'm just going to select that. Now, can you see grips on yours?
No.
Wow, I can't either. This is really, it's a memory thing. But anyway, so if I were to move this, let's just turn these off from here up to here. All right, here's what we're going to need to do, Mike, I think. Because we're running out of memory for the video. So if I selected that one and I moved from there, from say here up to here. Oh, what did I do? Undo that. Oh, I see what's going on.
Glad somebody does.
Well, I don't know if it's an IntelliCAD thing or a Carlson thing, but every now and then the undo buffer gets all screwed up. So when I did undo, it undid everything all the way back to where we had that giant piece of blocked text out there. So what we're going to do now is save, and we're going to exit. Let's see here, save. And we're going to exit out of Carlson entirely. Have you saved this?
Let me save it just to be sure.
Okay.
Okay, not saved. Let me close both of these.
Yeah, we're going to go all the way out of, oops, cancel that. We're going to go completely out of Carlson.
Okay.
In fact, you can close this now too. Now run Carlson again, and let's just load up that one file. I told you it doesn't hurt anything to have more than one file open, and it doesn't generally, but I think we were just overloading the system a little bit. There you go. Now, let's see if we can't try this again. So I'm going to draw.
I can't see anything that you're doing on.
Yeah, I'm waiting on it actually to, there we go, to draw text. Just standard text, and I'm gonna I'm just gonna draw some. Now this text, I'm gonna make it 0.0. Let's make it even a little bit smaller. I don't want to get it too small. South Childs Drive. What? I had to fix that. Yes. All right. Ledge Drive. Sunset. No, Sunflower, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sunflower Drive. Keith Drive. Did we do Abbey Road? I don't recall.
We didn't.
All right, it was just these four, I think. Maybe. All right, so now I want to take Sunflower.
How did you do that one after another?
Oh, when you're running the standard text command, when you hit enter after the first line, it goes to the next line down below and waits for you to put a new line in. It just basically repeats the command for you.
Okay, but it doesn't treat it like multi-line text.
No, it does not. But if you were to use that command and type in a single line and you didn't want a second, third, and fourth line, you just hit enter twice at the end. Okay. So now I'm going to just.
Road, not drive.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Okay, now, so I'm going to take Sunflower and I'm going to move it up to here, and we'll rotate that in just a minute. I'm going to first of all turn off my snaps so that I can freely place these. So I'm going to put Sunflower down in here, and Ledge went up here, and South Childs I'm going to put here, and then Keith I'll put here. Okay, now to rotate, I'm just going to select them and hit the rotate tool over here on the right. And I'll just give it a spot and then just eyeball how I want them to look. Repeat the command. From there. Oh. Ah, repeat, rotate. All right, so there. And then finally, we'll just sort of fine tune that like that. Now, I think that'll do for them.
Yeah, I think so too. Good.
Okay, what next?
Okay.
And do we have to do that to the to that other plat?
No, they didn't say anything.
Okay.
We don't even show the location inside on that plat.
Oh no, I meant you had one. This is the Summit View final. You had a Summit View merger.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, I don't know. They didn't make me show a location inside at all on the other merger on Crawford.
Well, that's true.
So the next comment is provide tick marks. And I didn't know how to do that. So what I did
Okay.
was I did what you
Yeah.
see there. And I
Right.
don't know if that'll make them happy or not.
Probably not. I'm going to say that they're going to be anal retentive on all of that. So I'll show you how to do the tick marks though.
Okay.
And it depends on, do they want just ticks? I guess we'll have to put edge.
This is just so the mapper can orient it to their GIS map.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't have to be accurate.
Yeah. But what I mean is, well, I guess we're going to have to label them so they know where they are. So we'll label on the edges. So what we want to do is this. We're going to be doing this in model space. So to know where it is that we want to cut things off once we're back in the paper space. And by this, what I mean is we're going to show some ticks. There'll be a tick here and a tick here and a tick here and a tick here, whatever. It'll be lined up north to south. But, we don't want ticks out here. We're just going to have it out, as far as where our little red frame is. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to simply draw in paper space temporarily a rectangle so I know where to use that as my cutoff. And I'm going to just sort of get up here in this upper left, and I'll come down here to my lower right, and I'll see that's going to be the frame of reference that I'll use in doing that. And then we'll erase that when we're done. We'll erase that X. Okay. So the reason I did that was to come here, and there you can see that's my little grid. Oh, actually right here, the grids are already done.
Well, those grids aren't on.
They're not on state plane, right?
No, they're not. They're on something weird. Remember we
Yeah.
had a little bit by trying to bring in a
287,000 north and 2.4 million east.
well, that's about right.
It sounds right. Huh.
Well, when we tried to bring it in with Google Earth, it wouldn't work. It was thousands of feet away, maybe even thousands of miles away.
Well, let's see here a minute. If I ID the intersection, that's 24395 288. Yep, that's exactly right on that one. FID, the intersection 2434281. Yep. Okay, the grid is correct, at least it's where it is here. And you gave this coordinate. Is that the intersection of that fence and that other property line there?
Stream.
Oh, the stream, yeah. All right, so if I choose that is 2438. Now see, that's, so 2438107, you've got 406528. But the drawing thinks it's at 2438107. So and then it thinks it's 286837905. So we're sort of out of whack here. Let me think. What's going on? What is this?
That was the control point. See, that was, this was flown, the guy who did the control did the GPS, and I don't know what he did it on. I don't know that he did it on NAD 83 West Virginia North.
Yeah. Okay. So we can't use this, although this grid matches our CAD system coordinate file.
Yeah.
Where did you come up with these numbers?
There's an NGS tool where you can actually pick a map, pick a spot on the map, and it gives you latitude and longitude, and you can hit a convert button and it converts to the grid.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not sure that that's as accurate as we imply with 3 decimal places out there, but we'll see. Let me think. And I think it'll be okay with that. All right, so if that's that, this is that. Are we assuming no rotation, I presume? What else did we have here? We had another one down here. Okay, is it just those two?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to double. All right, so I'm going to double check something here. I'm going to go from the intersection of that to the intersection of that. And I'm going to write that down as 5788. Now, what is the inverse? Right. Man, let me just do a Was this supposed to be a 0.509?
Yeah.
All right. 2406371.902. Okay. Now, whilst here, I'll go ahead and put that in or fix that part up now. See, because we're showing numbers that are shifted from this grid. Because of that, I want to verify that the line that we just drew that was 557.88 between those 2 points is going to be the same as these 2 points. So I've got 9999 and 10,000. So if I inverse between let's go from 10,000 to 9999.
You went from 1,000.
Oh, sorry. All right, so that has a distance of 551.05, not 557.88. So you see, that's why I wanted to make sure, because when you got those numbers off of that conversion thing, it, you know, they weren't terribly accurate by that amount, by what, 6 feet?
Yeah.
So let me think here a minute. Which one to use? So if we hold one of those and call that, so if we choose one of those to hold as to show us our coordinate shift, then let me also, let's just do let me double check this here first. So I'm going to go from here to see 10. All right, and if I want to check the rotation too. All right, so it's a slightly different rotation as well. All right, so this is the line that actually goes between the typed coordinates that you have on your plat. And you can see the drawn line is, of course, slightly different there. Now, will this be sufficient, do you think, to simply hold that upper point and say that that's what north and east are for that point, and then just build a grid off of that point?
Yeah.
With no rotation?
Yeah.
Think that'll work? Okay. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to get rid of that. So if that is a point, I'm going to draw a line from here I'm going to shift and go straight up. I'm going to draw another polyline. I'm going to go from that endpoint, and I'm going to shift and go straight out. Okay. Now we are telling the world that that line is at this northing elevation at 286,905.86. So what's our grid interval here? Is it 500? 287. All right, so 500. So it's the nearest 500 feet. What is that? That needs to be 287,000, right? So 287,000 minus, say 287 minus 286,905, whoops, 286,905. Well, my calculator's got a sticky button. 0.86. That's 94.14. All right, so we're going to move this from here. We're going to go relative. So I'm going to type the at symbol. Nothing in the XY direction, but 94.14 in the northern button. And that right there is 287,000. Okay. Now, the same thing we're going to do with this one is that this one is said to be 2,406,528. So that needs to obviously go to 2,406,500. And it's too far to the right. So we're going to go to the left a little bit. So that's going to be 2,406,528.432. And it's going to subtract 2,406,500. That's oh God, it's been a long day. All right, the 28.432. That's obviously something I could have done mentally. All right, so it's going to go from, well, actually from anywhere relative to that point minus 28.432, comma 0. All right, so that is 287 and 2,406,5. Okay. And just for yucks, for right now, to keep it all straight, I'm going to make them red so that I can keep up with what I'm doing with them. And I'm going to extend them out to this thing, which I'll also make red. And in fact, why don't I just, let me see. I want to also get, oh, I'm going to open up that file for just a second here, Mike, and I'm going to borrow something from it. I just want that text. And I'm going to take it from my clipboard and I'll get it saved from right there. Okay. I'll close that now. I don't need it anymore. And let's see. I'll paste those original coordinates, and then I'm going to grab them and move them from there to there, and we'll use those for labels here in just a minute when we're done. So I want to take this, this, and this, my overall frame, and my two little grids that I started with, and I'll take this as well just for reference. And I'm going to isolate just those items. I'm going to come up here to this toolbar and I'm going to say isolate by selection. And of course it clears everything and makes me go back and select it all over again. All right. So this and this and this, and finally that. No. Oh. Okay, all right. So now I know that this one is going to be 287. So 287,000. So if we were to make our grid 500 feet, so I'm going to copy that guy, say from that spot at 0, minus 500. I think that'll be enough on that. Same thing here. We'll go. All right, it's too far to the right. Good. All right, so I'll leave that one alone. All right, just leave it there for a marker. So if I copy from there to there to there's a little bit off the screen. I think that'll be sufficient, unless you want to go with a tighter grid than 500. Do you think we need to?
Well, I mean, normally all they get are two tick marks.
Okay. All right, so we'll leave that.
They don't get a whole grid. I've never seen anybody give them a whole grid.
I'm not going to give them a whole grid. I'm just putting the locations up. So, but I don't know if you wanted to go every. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying there's only two physically, like lower left, upper right. There's not a. Right. There's not a tick. I see. Okay. All right, so let's copy from here at 0, minus 500. Okay. So now, showing everything floating around here. I should have 4. Okay. All right, so those are our corners. We got that 1 point, that 1 point, that one, that one. This is what we, within this is what we see on our mapping. So let's just make these into a grid, and we'll just label, I mean, not a grid, but we're going to put a upper right and a lower left tick right there where that is. So I'm going to say, let's do another, do a rectangle from, say, here to this intersection. Oops. No, that's not what I want to do. Hold on. If I do this rectangle, say from here, how far am I moving? 20. So let's say at 20, 20. There we go. Now I move from this geometric center, which is what, right here, to the intersection of here. All right. And then we're going to copy that from, oh man, come on, from this intersection here to that intersection. Now we're going to trim. Whoops. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. I think I'm going to set the colors accordingly there. And then finally, I'm going to move this to here. This to here. And we're going to edit that to say east to 406, 500. And this will say north 287,000. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to take these two guys and copy them from that intersection to that intersection. And I'm going to make this northing 286, whoops, 286, 500. And the easting is 2406, 00. All right. Did you follow what we did there?
Yeah.
Mike?
Yes, I did. Can you hear me? Hello?
I can't hear you if maybe you're muted.
I didn't mute me.
Hello, Mike?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Let's see here. I don't show you as muted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm not sure. Yeah, hold on. Maybe I've got something else. Now talk. Let's see, Mike.
Hello?
Now I got you. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I got your text, but I was trying to figure out what was going on with it. All right, oops. Okay, now, so you follow what we did there. We basically took that upper point, called it good, moved where moved to where we were on an even grid number, and then just replicated it 500 feet below and to the left. Okay. And that gives them something as a reference. And it's not something as arbitrary as, say, the center of a stream as it crosses a property line, and then we show it down to the nearest 10,000ths of a foot. I think that was a little bit implying something that we didn't really mean to imply. So now we've established really all that we need for that grid. So I'm going to, now we no longer need that. That was just to let us know where we were inside of our shown boundary. And because I've got everything else isolated but that, I'm going to come back to here and say, turn everything back on. So I hit that show all.
What is that about?
Apparently there is at some point that 206 and 7. Remember those weird coordinates that we were having?
Yeah.
And there was something about those edits because when they got copied, and I never have gotten it resolved as to where that is supposed to be. So just for now choose to ignore them. And now I'll get rid of these. And then finally, oh, and we don't need this. Or this anymore. I missed one. Well, I think it's all right. So now back to here. So I've got this grid coordinate here, and I've got this grid coordinate there. And it's on an even 500. Now, the argument could be made, well, why don't you put it down here in the middle of nowhere? Well, it would be some uneven grid. We could even, make it square around there, but that should be enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next on the list.
Well, this is kind of a side comment that the county mapper made. I'm giving individual distances here, but this ended up being a total distance.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the whole line.
Well, what you want there is you want that distance to be out here
It is.
like it is. And then this distance should be from here to here.
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking as to how to do that?
Yes.
Okay, then well, like this distance, when you pick that distance, well, first of all, let's get rid of that one. Okay. Now let's I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna make my object layer current. So I've made that so I'm now up here on the property annotation lot 3. Probably looks like that's fine. All right, so now I want to, now notice I'm inside my viewport, so I'm on the real ground geometry. So now I want to annotate just that distance. Okay, so there's a couple of things I need to be able to pick it or pick point numbers or something in between those 2 points. So I need to be able to show it how I'm going to do that. Now I've got individual lines for each of those property lines on a frozen layer. I could go back over into model space and we might yet do that, but let's see what we can figure out from here. So let's go, I'm gonna let you drive. I'll let you go to the annotate menu and we're going to choose to annotate the distance underneath the line. So it's the next one right there, okay? So you want to select a line or polyline. We want to select it by points. So P, we're going to show it the endpoints of those lines, or not the endpoints of the line, but go ahead, you get this. Okay, now, first of all, it goes, so pick the first point or a point number. And if you don't know a point number, then let's choose the insertion points of those circles. So let's choose shift right click, insertion point, which is up a little ways, still right there. Okay. And go down there and click the one circle, click. And the other one, the same thing, shift right click, insertion point. One more down, keep going. Right, one more, right there. Click that point, up at the circle, click, and done.
Does that text look a little smaller than the others?
It does indeed, and we can fix that. And the reason it does is because on these annotate defaults, apparently we changed, it was different this time than when we did it here, but that's no problem. If I look at this one, if I select it and look at its properties, I see here it's got a standard style and it has a height of 10. Okay, so all I have to do for that is just to click this one now and make sure, or there's its standard style, that's good. Right now it's set to annotative. I'm going to match it exactly like the other one. I'm going to say, no, it's not annotative, but I'll make it 10, just like the other ones. Okay. So now there you go.
Okay.
All right. And I'll double click outside of the viewport and hit save.
Did you hit save?
I did hit save.
Okay. Let me see if I can move that thing out of the way. Yeah. Okay. I labeled the setbacks. I did the districts. I labeled that as proposed. That I'm doing on a separate plat. I did that. I did that. I did that. I did all of those. I did all of that. I did that. That still has to be determined. I did that. Okay, so I
We
think
got
we're
our,
done on, I think we're finished on this one.
yeah, we, says provide tick marks SPCS West Virginia North Nat 83. Do we need to indicate that that's what that is, or do we just, that's just their direction as to which tick marks to use?
Yeah, I think we're okay.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Um, So, and they said make that line solid because that's a new line, and I
Okay.
did. And these are solid because they're new lines, and I did.
Okay.
So I think we're finished with this one. Let's open the merger plat and take a quick look at it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
no, I don't.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have a markup for that one, do I?
No. This is a
Okay.
whole new plat. There's no markup for it.
Yeah. Okay.
What they want me to do is to, before I do this division into 3 pieces, is to merge this sliver with this and vacate this part of that right of way. And they said I could do that on the final plat, but I think that'll make for a very messy final plat. So I decided
Okay.
just to do it as a separate plat. And
All right.
I have most of it finished, but I need the same merger acreage table, and I created one. Let me show it to you.
Okay.
Now this doesn't have any formulas in it, so it needs to be fixed before I import it.
Okay. Go ahead and open up that other one while we're here. I'm just going to go to file. What was the other one? Was that, this is Lutman Summit View? Was that?
That's the one I'm in right now.
Okay. Where's the, is
It's
this the James?
for some reason. I can go
All
and
right.
find it. That was Crawford.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a Crawford somewhere right here.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Oh, I see. Same name. Never mind. All right. I was just going to have the other one open.
Oh, I called them both merger table.
That's okay. Let's see. I was just going to use one to sort of copy styles and stuff from.
Yeah, that would be good if I could do that. Then I could just take that table. In fact, I could just go right over this one. I could we could get out of this one and I could open the Crawford merger and do a save as to this job.
Yeah.
Overwrite this one.
Okay. Why don't we do that? Let's go ahead and close this one. Don't save, and then open the other one, and then.
Oh, I need to close that.
All right.
Oh, I didn't do a save.
That's
as,
okay.
Copy.
Do you need those numbers out of that one or not?
No.
All right, then just,
Oh,
yeah,
this
just,
one.
yeah. Here, let's do this. All right, and then now let's paste. And let's sort by type. And there's your merger table old. So now you can look at both of these. All right, so there's the old numbers if you need them for
Yeah.
reference. And then here's this. So we need to change that to lot 27.
Right.
And this one to lot 28. And then we're gonna take, first of all, is this 5 minus 1.2? Is that what that is? Yeah, that looks good. And then that looks good. Okay, so
There's no formula there. I just
you just did the, okay. So I just want to make sure the math is correct. All right, but we'll take all of these and we're going to copy. And done with that. And we're going to come here and say paste special, because we don't want any formulas or anything else that they've got. We just want to take those. We're going to make these centered. These will be, all right. I'm going to format the cells and the alignment. We'll give it a little indent there. We're going to take these guys, also make them right justified, and give them an indent. And yes, there is a way, and I should have done it this way to start with, but I can never figure out where they've hidden the find and replace command. It's not there. Data?
I just saw it somewhere the other day. I think it's under review. Nope.
It's always where you never, that's why I've been just sitting there. It's just wasting time. I would look it up if I used Excel every day. I don't. All right. Now I think,
Quotation mark in the minus. I guess I need
yes.
to put that in there.
Yep. So I'll let you do that. So the apostrophe minus and the apostrophe plus. Whoops.
I didn't do that.
No, I press escape or hit the X right here for a minute. There you go. So double click in it or click up there in the formula bar, either one, and go to the left. You don't want to have all that highlighted. You just want to be left of it. You see how it's highlighted?
Yeah.
That means it's going to replace whatever you type.
I'll get to the left of it.
Yeah, so just double click it and click to the left. Now put a quote or apostrophe minus. Something's weird. There it is. Okay. I do the same thing with that one with the apostrophe plus.
Huh. What? What did it just do?
It's trying to do I don't know. Hold on a second. There you go. Apostrophe. How come 2 pluses? No, do that. I don't know. All right, let's see. Double check this. Format cells, border, that's for the outside. We're going to go skinny for the inside. And we're going to go bold for that and bold for that. Okay, we'll save that. And now you're going to select everything, corner to corner, and right click copy. Go back to your CAD map. And wherever you want it, you're going to right click and choose clipboard. And you're going to say at the bottom, paste special. And you want to paste it as a Microsoft Excel worksheet. There you go. Just put it wherever you want it. And then you can move that around as you need.
Right, I'll probably will move it somewhere else, but.
All right.
One other thing, I need to label. I've been trying to do and you had the same trouble with it. But if I do the draw text, and I was trying to do text on a line.
Yeah.
What I wanted to do was oops. Now
Okay.
the drawing units are way too big, right?
No, because now, oh, wait, yeah, well, yeah, because we're in paper space. But do you want that to be, do you want that to stay with the line? You probably do. So you probably should be in model space when this is being done. Okay, so let's, yeah. There you go. Now you can do it. And now that should work. Now it's on that layer location map anno. So if you have a layer name, make sure you change that. Okay. And now where it says style of joiners, I don't know. You can always change those after the fact. So
What do you think, notes?
I have no idea. I don't recall what the styles are that are defined. We'd have to see.
Okay,
and that's just.
I wanted to do above the line, which is on this side of the line, I hope.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Depends on which direction you made the line.
Well, I'm going to have to put a bearing and distance here. So
that's all right.
Maybe I'll put it below the line.
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter whichever way you want to do it, because once it's there, it's just text. You can reposition it just by click editing and dragging it.
So let me try below line and see if that works.
All right.
And when it's justification, it's center. It's going to put it in the center of the line. Is that what that means?
It's going to, well, it means it's going to make the text center justified. And when you pick a line, in this case, I think it's a single segment. I don't think it's a polyline necessarily, but if it were, it would it still makes it center justified, but then it's going to ask you to give it its placement along the whole feature. I'm not sure what this is going to ask, but that's fine what it is now. So let's say, okay.
Did okay.
Now pick the polyline or polyline segment. Okay, so that's going to be one segment.
Okay.
Now,
The second
and
point.
so as you move the mouse now, see how it's sliding up and down?
Yeah.
So that's going to be where it's going to go. So
Okay.
whenever you click. All right, now, if we zoom in here for a minute, you see how it's it's right up at the line?
Yes.
There's no offset to it.
Right.
And I will show you why that is. First of all, we could just simply move it. Okay, but I'm going to let you do that. Remember when we were doing it on the location map?
Yeah.
And I set this number way down and I copied that little number down there. That's right there. So let's make that offset scalar the same as that.
Okay.
So I'll let you go. So type 0.08 and then hit OK. Pick the line and then show it where you want it to go. Oh, okay, never mind. Let's do it one more time. So let's erase that one. And let's repeat that. Let's see.
Where was that? Draw text.
Text online or text on
Was it
poly.
online or is it on a polyline?
Well, we can say online, and that means even if it is a polyline, it's the segment of the polyline that we pick. Now, first of all, the text offset scalar, apparently that's going to the bottom of that. So let's double that to 0.16 instead of 0.08. All right, now we'll try it. Now just pick the line. Okay, go ahead, click it. We're just going to need to move it off. I don't know why it's not. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I don't know why it's not doing that, but oh well.
Okay, now I need to put a similar label on this line. Can I just copy this?
You can. If they're parallel.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So just copy that over and then edit it. Yep.
Oh, I hate it when I do that. Okay, what am I doing here? Why is it?
Are you rolling the wheel?
Yes. How do
Quit.
I get out of that?
Let's press escape for a minute. I got you out of the. Wow. All right. Let's go back to that. All right. So what do we want? So if I edit it and if I double click it now, I'm in the editor. You see the cursor?
Yeah.
So, you know, if you want to select something to where it's going to replace, you do like that. If
I just want to say.
what do you want? What?
I want to say old line vacated by merger.
So we're going to take new and we're going to say old. And let's see, DAC vacated. Is that right?
Yep.
And then we just click off and hit enter to finish. Okay.
Now I've still got the issue with the location inset, but I don't think technically I'm even required to provide a location inset on a merger.
Okay.
Well, let me go ahead and annotate this line while I'm here.
Yep.
What? Pick second line.
Okay. Now look at your prompt. You see your prompt, it says you were picking a point.
Oh, okay.
So press escape, and just run the command again. And before you click anything, switch what it is what it's asking you for. So instead of pick line point blah, you're going to type L for line work. Now you see it's going to select a line or a polyline. So you pick that line. And there it is.
Very good.
Okay. Now that line does go all the way up to those centers of the circles. They're not clipped off at the edge of the circles, right?
I don't think so. I hope not.
Yeah, because I think you've got those wipeout symbols.
Yeah.
And if I look at, let's see, if I choose that, yeah, see, it goes all the way up to the middle. I just want to make sure. See, that's the big dilemma that a lot of people had before we were able to use wipeouts, is that, you know, these real fastidious cartographers would trim off the line work at the circles, which is the way we used to ink a map. But then you try to measure the line with the computer and it can't read it. You know, it's got issues.
Yeah, I've still got all of that stuff to do, but I'm probably going to do.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to turn those point numbers off, because I kind of like the point numbers off. That's yeah. I wanted to ask you about that. How do you do that again? I couldn't find the freeze command.
Okay. There's first of all is to know that a couple things to know. In general, you can simply freeze a layer, and that turns that layer off. Now, if you happen to freeze the layer that the point itself is sitting on, which might be something you called field points or whatever else, then it's going to freeze the entire point. You won't be able to see anything. But those points are made up of a special block is included that holds the point number, the description, and the elevation. Okay. And those are on specific layers called PNT or PNTS. I forget which, it was got an S on underscore NO for number, description, elevation. And if you're using a separate one for the symbols, you'll see point marks. Okay, so you could individually go and freeze those particular numbers. Now that's one thing to remember. We'll look at that in a second. The other thing to remember is that while I'm on this sheet, and if I'm inside this viewport, any freeze and thaw that I do on layers in the viewport freeze thaw only takes effect here. So in case I wanted to keep them on over here, so when I go back and work in my geometry, I know what my point numbers are.
Yeah.
I can do that. I'll leave these on over here. But when I'm here, inside of this viewport, there we go. Now I can freeze that particular layer. Now here's the ones to remember. So if I look at my layer list, and I'm going to look for PNT. So I've got an asterisk, PNT asterisk. That means anything with a PNT in the name of it. So I've got point PNT NO for number, description, elevation. I've also got those same things in this file called topo in case they happen to have been on. I see that they're frozen anyway, so they're not on. So I could sit here and I could come over here. Now notice if I were to do it right here, it's going to freeze it everywhere in the drawing.
Right.
If I come over to the current viewport and freeze it, and then close off, and then do a regen, which apparently I'm having to do all the time, then that will take care of it just within here. And if I go back to my model space, see, they stay there. Okay. Now that was the one way. The other tool that I like to use is this one that says freeze layer by pick.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is if you
where is that again?
oh, I'll show you here. Let me turn that back on. So oh shoot, I'm over top of that. I keep picking up that PDF when I do that. All right, so I'm inside of here. I'm going to turn that point. I'm going to thaw that back. Okay, so and again, you have to be inside of here. All right, but this is a command that's called freeze by pick. Now it has, here's a couple places to find it, is on the view menu, because this is a view type command. So go up there and grab the view menu. Okay, now if you look down that bottom part of the menu, you see all those tools?
Yeah.
And see that freeze layer by pick and restore and isolate and all that? Those are all they're sort of layer tools, but they're really sort of view tools. So if you click off of the menu now over into the white space or just, there you go. Now look at the toolbars up at the top that you have out. You see those? Yeah, see there's isolate and restore, and then there's freeze by pick. And freeze by pick means as soon as you click it, it freezes it. The other one next to it means you pick a bunch of different ones, and once you're through picking them, you hit enter and then they all go off. Okay. But that's the one you want though, is the freeze by pick. And then just pick on that. Make sure you get the point number, not the line, or it immediately goes off. There you go. Yep, that's it, done. Unless you have more you want to do, so.
No, I can move those descriptions around, fix that.
Yep, exactly right. Now make sure though, when you move those around, like when this selects, oh shoot. What just happened here?
They still have the I hadn't exited out of that command.
Yeah, I guess that's what it was. All right, so now what is, just be careful when you do this. You see the number of grips?
Yes.
See, that's the whole point is still there.
Yes.
So you want to make sure you get like this, that lowest one, you see, make sure, and then turn off this snapping.
If it comes up with
and
that
you
command that says, do you want to revise the point number? I just say no.
Correct. And so then this one,
in case I've made a mistake.
Shoot, what?
It's that
Yeah, so just be careful that whenever you move these, just grab that farthest out grip and make sure that's the part that's moving, because you don't want to move the grip that's in the center. That's the actual point itself.
Now,
okay.
If I want to revise one of those descriptions, like if I want to call that stone a found stone,
just double click it.
Here?
Yeah, if you double click, well, you have to be inside the viewport. I think I clicked out. So wait a minute, I keep getting on that. There we go. Now when you double click it, it's going to bring up the point editor. Now there's two descriptions here.
Yeah.
One is what's in the drawing and one is what's in the coordinate file, and they can be different. They generally by default are the same, but this is how field to finish works.
Okay, so the drawing description will just change the drawing.
And yet the coordinate file still just says stone.
Right.
Okay, and if you wanted to change it,
change both, right?
Exactly right. So if you want to, you may change them both. Very good.
why isn't it letting me okay? Oh, there it goes.
Taking it's punishing you.
Okay, let me ask you one other question, totally unrelated to all of this.
Okay.
I have a problem with, and I don't know yet what it's a problem with. I'm using, I have a Surveyor 2 data collector, which is made by Carlson. I'm using the Serve CE software, and I'm using a Leica T13. And I discovered the other day when I was out in the field doing some stakeout, I had the coordinates, I had a drawing, and I was setting up on a control point and telling the T13 through the data collector to turn to a certain point. And I could tell by looking at the drawing and looking at where the instrument was pointed that it wasn't pointing at the right point. So I thought, well, I've got something wrong here. And I came back, I didn't stake out anything else because it scared me.
Yeah.
And I came back and looked at all of the coordinates, and they're all the same. They're the same in the Carlson file. Because I had done a rotation translation. And I thought, well, you dummy, you forgot to download the new points into the data collector. But it was only, you know, a few, maybe half a foot rotation translation. It wasn't a big one, so it wasn't going to move things a lot. And the difference that I was seeing was a lot. But the coordinates were the same anyway. I hadn't forgotten to update them in the data collector.
Mm-hmm.
And I verified that I had set the control point using the robot, but I checked it with the rover, the GPS rover, and it was fine.
Okay.
So I hadn't made a mistake setting the control point. So I've been looking on surveyors chat groups, and I haven't asked the question yet, but I found a chat group where they said there's a problem with Carlson Serve CE working with Leica equipment that sometimes it doesn't zero the backside.
Ah, okay.
And the further problem is that when you try to resolve the problem, Carlson will say it's Leica's problem, and Leica will say it's Carlson's problem, and it's very hard to resolve. Do you have any advice?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Carlson's not generally one that does that finger pointing like the other folks do. But they may legitimately have a you know, that, hey, there's nothing we can do about it. We're relying on the signal from the gun and we're not getting it, and blah blah blah. So
Well,
but yeah, I was going to say
tomorrow and ask
yeah,
about it.
you know what he's going to tell you though is that we'll quit using Serve CE and use our software. That's what he's going to tell you.
Well, he's the one.
And oh, by the way, and I'll sell you a $5,000 data collector.
He's the one that sold me the Serve CE software.
Oh, okay. Well then, then good. All right. So, yeah, call him in and see. And I was going to say, that sounds to me exactly like what's going on. And that used to happen to a buddy of mine here that, but he uses.
Well, I'm wondering if there's a setting on the data collector that could have gotten changed, where you're supposed to zero a backside.
No, it's not a setting that you set and forget. You do have to zero the plates. Okay, so when you're setting up and before you turn to the new station, you have to do that. Let me let me show you what I'm talking about here in a second. Let's see, you have saved this drawing. Anything else on this drawing to look at?
Nope, I think we can close it.
All right, let's close that. Close that. And do you still have that Serve CE? Okay, go ahead and run it. Yeah, there you go. All right, so now when you're getting ready to stake this out, you're going to go to let's see. I need to say manual total station just to be able to show you what it is. All right, so if I'm going to stake out these points, first of all, let me see what kind of points I've got. Oh, none. Oh, let me see. Just the one, all right. All right, there's some points. So if I'm at, all right, so let's say, just let me get a good example. If I'm,
there's a stakeout command. Let me show you what I'm doing.
yeah, but I just want to get an idea of seeing the positioning. So if I'm looking at 250, or if I'm sitting at 250, say, and looking at 252, and if I want to set 232, that's a sort of an angle to the right of 90 degrees.
Yeah.
That's so I was just sort of getting an idea of the, let's see, it was 252 and then 232. Okay, now, so when you do your stakeout, go ahead and show me what you're doing.
Go to survey, go to stake points. Tells you what point you're occupying.
Okay. So
I don't know a point number there. I guess this is a list. Okay.
Yep. All right.
It's 199. I'm going to pick back site point. I'll say 204 for last.
Now, by the way, you see that where you pick from the list?
Yes.
You can also pick from the map.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And so now you see that backsite north azimuth, that's a computed azimuth between those 2 points.
Right.
Okay.
And then I tell it the backsite.
Okay. So your set angle, check angle, so use current is 0. So right now it happens to be 0. All right, because that's what it's setting to be. But if you,
that's what I want it to be.
Right, but on the actual instrument, when it's reading it, and you set this angle and read, and if you set the angle, then you get to, well, let's see, that's where I'm going to go. Let's see, backside. That's okay. Oh, did I just kill it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, that wasn't right. Wow.
Took you out of the job.
There we go. All right. So when we stake this point, try that point there. Okay, now. It's in my backside. All right, stake point 250, 262. Okay, so right now, see, my plates are at 0. So if it were not, I don't have any way to have it something else. Let's see here. If I check the angle right, same thing. So if I, let's see, if I go 90 degrees. Measuring to point 262. Aim the instrument reverse and press OK versus K. All right, so now all right, so I'm going to make that one 90 degrees there. Zenith, that's fine. All right, so now it's 90 degrees. So yeah, so all right, let's set that to 0. All right. Set angle and read is what you need to do. So now the angle, right, let's say I go 45 degrees and I go 125 feet. I don't understand why it keeps coming back to this.
Well, it's supposed to zero your backside. You're not supposed to be backsighting with an angle. So I think.
Well, I know. But the problem is that it allows you to if you're carrying these. And that's what got my buddy in trouble all the time, and I had to go back and edit his raw file for him to try to figure out where he should have zeroed the plates. So the problem is, see, I'm at 250. I'm looking at 262. Okay, so backside 0. Set angle and read 0, 0, 0. Slope distance off. I didn't read what it's supposed to be. I don't want to read the backside. I'm going to just take the backside as it is. Okay, but I want to stake out a point. You set up, it's at 250, 262. I guess it's not going to let you until you take that backside reading. See, the problem is I don't know what those are supposed to be. And it's, all right, so now if I were to, I'm here looking at that, let's say I'm gonna choose that corner point and say, okay, so 0.263, stake 218. So turn 75 degrees. Now that means I was sitting here looking here. So that's, so you can see my setup here, looking there, turning. So that looks about like a 75 degrees. That part's okay. Now, if I say that's
screen.
When I did my stakeout points,
Yeah.
here to here, I did my backside. Once I accepted that backside, it put me directly in that screen to let me choose a point.
Okay.
Okay, now there is, so what I've done, if I were to traverse to where here, the problem in doing this with this is that I can't really see the way the instrument is reacting
Sure.
to carry that angle on the plates.
Well,
So if I were to,
giving some really good clues. I have a better idea of how to troubleshoot it now, and I'm still going to call the Leica guy tomorrow.
yeah, so I would do that, but just make sure when you set this up to do your backside, if this is not reading 0,
yeah,
you want to set the angle and read if you're going to go ahead and take the reading, or just set the angle to begin. That sets it to 0. But just make sure you do that part of it, because my buddy used to do it, and he uses the Carlson robot, which is, I think, a Sakia. I'm not sure. There's one of those manufacturers. So so he was carrying those, and it was keeping the plates dialed around from his last turned angle.
Oh, wow.
And he kept forgetting to reset, so he'd be bebopping along. As long as he remembered, everything was great. And because he never looked at the map of what he was building on that mapping screen, he never knew that he was getting things screwed up. You can tell right away if you're looking at it graphically that, hey, I'm doing the house corner, but I'm like, 45 degrees out of whack here.
Right.
You can see those things. So he would bring them into me, and then, dump a raw file on me and a coordinate file and say, what do I do? So we would go through and find, he goes, yeah, and I remember I was walking down here and this is like that, and it's like that. But it looks like from this point on, it's like everything is swung around like 2 million degrees.
Right.
And so we would find out where it was in his setup. But anyway, so just be careful of that and be aware. And that's not really a bug. I mean, you and I say that, yeah, we should always 0 our plates. And we know that because it makes it easier to dial in an angle that we want. But that's not necessarily always the same way people work. The instrument itself doesn't know or really care. It calculates an angle based on the difference of 2 readings. And we just like to make the one reading 0 so that we know the next reading is also the measured angle. Anyway, but keep an eye on that, test it again for that reason, and also call the Leica guy and let him know what you found on the boards and see what he says. All right.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Been very helpful.
You bet. Okay, well, I'll pop the video up just in case you need it.
Okay, thanks.
You bet, man. Take care.
You too.